Hello everyone, my name is Rui Vieira and I'm software engineer at Red Hat working on TrustAI. Today I'll be talking about large language model evaluation. As more organizations deploy large language models in production, an important question is how do you actually know if your models are performing correctly? We can monitor technical metrics like latency and throughput, but evaluating the qualitative aspects of model outputs is equally important. This is where TrustAI and OpenShift AI comes in. We've taken the open source LM evaluation harness framework and made it fully cloud native, allowing you to systematically evaluate your language models at scale directly in your production OpenShift environment. And today, I'll show you how this works and why it's essential for AI deployments. Here you can see that we've deployed a Granite model. We've chosen this model as our example because it is a powerful LLM with a good balance of performance and resource requirements. This dashboard gives us visibility into the model's operational status, resource consumption, and inference requests. While we can see that the model is running without issues, how do we actually know it is performing correctly from a qualitative perspective? Let's look at how LM-Eval allows us to address this challenge. Our model is deployed using VLLM, a high-performance model server, and we can check that our model is working by setting it a few prompts. This is a basic check to make sure it can handle simple queries and generate valid responses. First, let's ask our model to name a Red Hat product. And the model responds with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. That is a correct answer. Let's try a simple arithmetic question. What is 2 plus 2? And the model correctly answers, the sum of 2 plus 2 is 4. This basic test shows that our model is responsive and functioning as expected for simple queries. But these manual checks are not the same as systematic evaluation. How do we know if the model performs well across a wide range of scenarios? How does it compare to other models? Or whether if it meets specific quality criteria for our use case? This is where we move from manual testing to systematic evaluation, and where TrustAI comes into play. TrustAI is an initiative to bring responsible and trustworthy AI capabilities to the enterprise world. One component is LM-Eval, which provides a standardized way to evaluate language models across dozens of benchmarks. To start an evaluation, we need to create an LM-Eval job custom resource, a way to define, run, and track model evaluations. It defines which models to evaluate, which benchmarks to run, and how to configure the evaluation process. Here's our LM evaluation job custom resource. It specifies required pieces of information. First, the evaluation task we want to run. In this case, we're using a standard benchmark from the harness. And second, the model endpoint. Here we're pointing to our deployed model's API endpoint. Once the job is applied, the TrustAI operator will detect this new resource and begin orchestrating the evaluation process. It will create the necessary pods, establish connections to the model endpoints, and begin running the benchmark tasks we specified. The TrustAI operator has detected our custom resource and automatically provisioned the evaluation infrastructure. While the evaluation starts, let's learn about the evaluation we're running. In this example, we've chosen to run a subset of the MMLU benchmark, which stands for Massive Multitask Language Understanding. This is a popular benchmark that tests models across a wide range of knowledge domains and reasoning tasks. It includes questions from fields like mathematics, medicine, law, ethics, and many more. What makes it particularly useful is that it gives us a standardized way to assess how well our model performs on different types of tasks. For instance, we might find that our model excels at general knowledge questions, but struggles with complex reasoning problems, which will give us valuable insights into where we need to improve or what kind of tasks we should deploy this model for. There are a huge number of evaluations to pick from, and we have access to dozens of standardized benchmarks without having to implement each one from scratch. For enterprise deployments, this is valuable because you can select the benchmarks that are most relevant to your specific use cases. For instance, if you're using models for customer service, you might focus on evaluations of conversational ability or toxicity prevention. And if you're using models for research assistants, you might focus more on knowledge and reasoning benchmarks. Each question in MMLU is presented with 4 possible answers, and the model needs to select the correct one. This format is similar to a standardized testing in educational settings, making it familiar and interpretable. The model's overall score represents the percentage of questions it answered correctly, with separate scores available for each subject area. And this granularity helps identify specific strengths and weaknesses to the model's knowledge base. Let's look at a specific question from the global facts subject. What was the GDP per capita in the United States in 1850 when adjusting for inflation and PPP in 2011 prices? This question demonstrates how MMLU tests knowledge across very different domains. This one requires historical economic knowledge, specifically about the economic conditions of the United States in the mid-19th century, adjusted for modern economic measures like purchasing power parity. It's the kind of factual information that models need to have memorized during their training to answer correctly. And this shows how MMLU doesn't just test general knowledge or reasoning, but domain-specific knowledge across many fields. Our evaluation will test the model on hundreds of these kinds of questions. Our evaluation job has been running in the background of OpenShift AI, and the evaluation infrastructure has been systematically testing our model against a subset of questions. Now let's check on the results and see how our model performed on these standardized benchmarks. We're about to get objective, quantitative insights into our model's capabilities that we can use to make informed decisions about deployment or fine-tuning. When the evaluation finishes, the results are saved to a file, making them available for analysis, comparison, and long-term storage. The results include overall summary scores, as well as detailed logs of how the model responded to each question. This table gives us a comprehensive view of our model performed across different categories. Each row represents a different subject area, and the score shows the percentage of questions the model answered correctly in that domain. And looking at this breakdown, we can quickly identify areas where our model excels and areas where it does not. For instance, we might see higher scores in humanities subjects like literature or history, and lower scores in specialized fields like advanced mathematics or professional medicine. This is common for general-purpose LLMs, which tend to have a broader knowledge but less depth in highly specialized domains. As we've shown, model evaluation allows us to measure what our model can do and what it can't do. And this insight is essential for responsible AI deployment. Understanding these limitations helps prevent applying models to domains where they lack sufficient expertise. It also provides clear direction for future performance improvement in specific areas. Without evaluations like this, we might never discover these problems until they occur in production. For instance, toxic language generation is another critical aspect that can be evaluated. In production environments, deploying models that might produce harmful, offensive, or inappropriate content represents a significant reputational risk. And TrustAI's evaluation framework includes specialized benchmarks that systematically test a model's propensity to generate problematic content when presented with specific prompts. Thank you for watching this demonstration of language model evaluation with TrustAI on OpenShift AI. We've seen how systematic evaluation can transform qualitative aspects of model behavior into quantifiable metrics, helping you make better decisions about your AI deployment.